Hi, this is Karen Rowland, founder of Hush Providence. Welcome to my new weekly Wellbeing podcast, Real People, Real Conversations, Real Life. We'll be talking about all things relating to the human experience. What makes up a life? What creates joy and happiness? What makes humans the same or different? How do we care for ourselves and each other? We'll even try to answer the 5 W's of well-being: who, what, when, where, and why, and how this all fits together. A little ambitious? Maybe, but join us as we connect with local topic experts, peers, mentors, and healers. Welcome to Hush Providence, a well-being podcast. I'm excited today to introduce Dr. Sandy Musial to today's episode. She is a founding member of Plant Docs. The tagline is Real Foods Heal. She is one of a group of founding physicians of Plant Docs, a nonprofit educational program dedicated to preserving health and reversing chronic diseases through whole food, plant-based nutrition. It started in 2019. Welcome, Sandy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Why don't we begin by you sharing your journey to Plant Docs?
Sure. So I've been a physician for 25 years. I started my journey with an undergraduate degree in nutritional sciences and have always had this kind of lifelong interest in nutrition. I spent 13 years in private practice, followed by 11 years at Hasbro Children's Hospital, all this time working as a pediatrician. And during this time, I became aware of kind of new research that was coming out on like how important it is to incorporate plants into your diet, and that maybe cow milk isn't the best thing for human health. And these were things that I hadn't learned in medical school and still weren't being taught. And so I felt this kind of need to learn more and more about nutrition and its relationship to human health. So kind of on my own, I did some coursework at, I did the Cornell plant-based certificate course, and I did a 1-year, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, 1-year health coaching course. And along these lines, I also started an obesity clinic for children, which felt more down this kind of nutrition avenue. And while I was doing that, I got board certified in obesity medicine, which was more of an adult subspecialty than just pediatrics. And in the last few years, there was, some, as I'm middle-aged, there were like some of my friends that were being diagnosed with diabetes and dying of heart attacks and being diagnosed with cancer. And I felt like I really want to work more with this population, the middle-aged population, because from my knowledge and everything I was learning, there's something we can do about this by changing what you eat and your lifestyle and how you approach stress. And how can I help people that are middle-aged, realize that you don't just have to take a pill. You don't have to accept these chronic diseases as your inevitable fate, that maybe there's something you can do to kind of take control of your health. And so that kind of all was unfolding as I met Kim Anderson, who is the owner of Plant City. And she, before it opened, we had met and we were chatting and realized we had all these, interests in common. And she had, had this great idea of having programs in Plant City Cellar to help educate people on the importance of nutrition and health. So in 2019, when Plant City opened, that's when we started Plant Docs. And our first program was called Jumpstart Your Health. And it was this 1-month program that started literally the month that Plant City opened. We enrolled 20 people and we did labs before and after and taught people how to eat whole foods, get rid of the processed foods, all plant-based, really minimizing animal products, and teaching people how to cook with these foods and how to meal plan, how to read labels. So there isn't all these sneaky ingredients that are added that aren't good for you. And what happened was we all of the doctors that were involved in the nutrition people, we were so pleasantly not kind of surprised because I hadn't done this kind of immersion program before with the amazing results we were having. So, and that's how Plant Docs was born and how our Jumpstart Your Health program was born.
Well, congratulations on this good work. I applaud you and all the work that you're doing. And also shout out to Kim because she's amazing. So, and I love I was able to participate in the program, and then you can talk about maybe the hybrid program because the pandemic hit and then you had to sort of pivot. This was a follow-up or refresher course for me because I had gone through the cardiac rehab Dean Ornish program in East Greenwich and I needed a refresher. So I was able to participate in your program, which was very similar. And so I can, attest to how great it is. So maybe talk about the pivot that you had to do during the pandemic.
Sure. Yeah, during the so we had run 6 programs in a row, and we were seeing these amazing results, and COVID hit. So we had to abruptly halt in the middle of the 6th program because we were all gathering live and eating together and cooking together. And so for about a year and a half, we did absolutely nothing. But I did do a lot of thinking about what I was most passionate about. And I think a lot of people, had that opportunity to pause and really think like what's important in your life. And I mean, I love the work I was doing at Hasbro. I love being in private practice, but I felt like I'm ready for a new chapter that's devoted to food as medicine. So I did quit my job in 2021. And since then, I've just been devoted to growing Plant Docs to spread the message about the importance of food and health, and switching it over to a nonprofit so we can reach more people and a more diverse population. But when we restarted in the summer of 21, COVID was still happening. So we decided we couldn't eat together. We were all going to be masked. And so we changed to this hybrid model where the first and the last class we could gather in person, but there wouldn't be food. And then we would have 2 classes that would be remote over Zoom that would be dedicated to learning how to cook. And we would do a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. And I got some really great feedback from participants that method of them cooking themselves, having to buy the groceries, actually having to open the tofu, drain it, and, do it themselves rather than just watching us was way more empowering. So we decided to keep that model. And the other awesome thing that grew out of COVID was I had referrals, like friends and family of people who had done it that weren't local, but really wanted to be part of the Jumpstart. So I took the first one in 2021, someone from upstate New York, and I said, you're going to just be my pilot. I'm just going to have one person that's fully remote. And she reversed her type 2 diabetes, dropped her LDL into a normal range after being told by her doctor that it was all genetic and that there was nothing she could do about it. She just had to take pills. But before she started meds, she had heard about this. Her brother had done it. And she's like, I really want to try this. So that was so empowering for me to be like, we need to offer this to whoever wants to hear it, this message. So we were able to then open up to just fully remote. So everything we do now can be done fully remote, but we also have programs at Plant City Cellar.
And you have an office there now as well.
I do. So I also now do private consultations, and I can do them at Plant City Cellar, which is my preference for local people. I prefer to just, be with people face to face. But I am also doing them remotely for people that can't travel or drive or are not local.
And you do supermarket tours and.
Yeah, we started doing, we called it Shop with a Doc. And originally we were doing it with our original Jumpstarts, and then we brought them back in over this past year. We've gone to different supermarkets to help people learn how to read labels and choose one product over another. I also have some of those videos recorded on my YouTube channel, Plant Docs, but we will continue to do the live ones as well, like at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. We also did one at Job Lot because this is a Rhode Island store for anyone not in Rhode Island, but they have really great grains, whole grains for good prices.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
And now a shout out to our sponsor, the Good Seed Market, 138 Central Avenue, Seekonk, Massachusetts. Started in 1989 by 3 friends with a goal of creating a neighborhood market offering simple, natural, organic products for a healthy lifestyle. Now a member of the Independent Natural Foods Retailer Association, our friends at the Good Seed are offering our listeners a 10% discount on their first purchase just by mentioning Hush Providence. The Good Seed Market, a place where ideas can grow. So let's talk a little bit about lifestyle medicine. I think you're pursuing a board certification in that.
Yes. So over the last 10 years, this has been emerging. It's called the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and it's an official, recognized board subspecialty that doctors can get training in and be board certified in lifestyle medicine. And there's 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine that include the nutrition, which is kind of the main thing that I focus on, but also it's important to have restorative sleep, to get exercise, to focus on mindfulness and stress management, to avoid addictions, and to nurture positive, healthy relationships. So
that's awesome. So you'll be completing that soon, or?
Yeah, I'm studying for the boards now. I'm going to attend a conference in October and then take the boards in November. And then hopefully I'll pass them. It will be official.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So do you recommend meal prep to make things easier? There's a lot of myths with plant-based foods and whole foods, but I think you can make it easier. It's not necessarily more expensive. And so shout out to Ocean State Job Lot now, because I can go there, but maybe you could talk about meal prep a little bit.
Yeah, it's not more expensive. I mean, I know that, some cheap convenience foods are cheap, but they're, devoid of nutrition. And if you're substituting, nice, beautiful broccoli and greens for a cheese or a steak, those things are very expensive. So making the substitutions, it really doesn't cost more in the long run. But by also buying things in season and buying things in bulk rather than smaller packages, you save money as well.
Do you have a favorite recipe that you can share?
Sure. One of our, when people are stumped and they want to eat plant-based, but they want to make sure they're getting all their nutrition, we have a recipe called Any Bean, Any Green, Any Grain. And it's just a way to kind of organize it in your brain that you're going to get everything you need, that, you just pick a bean, and the easiest thing is a can, but to save money, you could do dried beans, cook a big batch, and then freeze them after you cook them, much cheaper, but a lot more work. So I just do the can. I always rinse them though, to get the excess sodium off. Any green, just any green, collard, kale, spinach, there's so many, and any grain. And by grain, we mean a whole grain. So I think carbs have been demonized. There's a whole lot of bad carbs out there, which are like sugar and refined processed flour products. But whole grains are good for you, even if you have diabetes. So things like farro, brown rice, quinoa, millet, amaranth, barley. And then a delicious oil-free sauce pulls it all together. And that's my favorite recipe to make. And my favorite sauce is this lemon tahini cashew sauce that you can make with cashews, or if you're looking to lose weight and cut out fat, you can make it with white beans. And I can share that recipe with you so you can.
I definitely share that. We'll link it for sure. And again, why don't you share your website so that people can connect to you and learn more about the program?
It's Plant Docs. PVD.com. So PLANTDOCS for Providence. Only people in Rhode Island get that .com. That was a mistake.
And so do you have any upcoming programs, like another Jumpstart coming up soon?
Yeah, we have a Jumpstart in September and one in November that will be coming up, that can be done the hybrid or fully remote. We have monthly cooking classes that are all remote. And the next one is actually featuring the head chef at Plant City, Chef Luis, and he's going to be talking about Central American cuisine. And because this year our theme with the cooking classes is plant-based global cuisine, and we're also featuring the blue zones as part of the global cuisine. And one of the blue zones is in Costa Rica, the Nicoya Peninsula. So that's kind of the focus of this next cooking class, but they're really fun. You can sign up on the website. And then we also have a class specifically for cancer prevention or cancer survivors. And that's going to be in October. It's called Foods to Fight Cancer. And it's a 4-week class that's part education, like what about mushrooms makes them anti-cancer, like why? And then making a delicious recipe that's simple in the remaining 40 minutes. So it's just a 60-minute class, and that's all remote. So I send out the ingredients ahead of time. It's just like the cooking classes, so we can all cook together.
Love it. So you're in the business now of sort of taking care of others and helping them take care of themselves. So what are you doing for yourself for self-care?
So I'm pretty good at practicing what I preach. I'm probably 95 to 98% like whole food, plant-based. I think it's most challenging when you go out to eat, but I try to exercise regularly, and I'm definitely better at it in the summer months. I love to kayak and bike. I love to be outside in nature. I feel very fortunate to have my 2 loving dogs, which make me walk 365 days a year. No matter what, I go out and walk them twice a day. So, and I know I wouldn't do that if it weren't for my dogs. But I also love to practice yoga, because I find that it's very, it's good for everything. It's good for balance. It's good for strength. It's good for stretching, and it's good for mindfulness and breathing. So it's one of my favorite things, especially in the winter. I definitely do more yoga off, in the colder months. And then I use the Calm app and do meditation every morning when I wake up. And one of the things that's a little tip I'll just throw out there. A lot of people like the whole thought of like sitting up still was a block for me. So I just started meditating lying down while I'm still in bed. And I feel like I'm cheating, but for me, it works. And I'm hoping to kind of grow that meditation practice and transition to sitting and meditating for longer, because I really believe in the power of meditation.
And it's a practice. So, we're all sort of learning.
Right. Exactly.
Sandy, thank you so much for all of this great information. I really appreciate you participating today. And I'm going to include all of the links on the upfront messaging. So thank you again. I really appreciate it. Good luck with everything. And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for participating and listening today. And until next time, be well. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, Sandy.
Great to be here. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Hush Providence, a well-being podcast. This would not be possible without the incredible help from Jamie Farinella and Stephanie Whitehead on branding and logo concept, John Papa's endless generosity, David Davignon and Austin Lynch for their skilled technical expertise, and of course, our amazing guests and all of you, our listeners. Until next time, be well.